Welcome to Kanishka IAS. I am Venkateshwar Reddy. Now we are going to give a news analysis on the current affairs. First topic of the day is Supreme Court has give ultimatum to the central government of 2 weeks to appoint all the vacancies that are there in the tribunals. Then what are tribunals? Tribunals are the quasi-judicial bodies. What is meant by quasi-judicial bodies? Quasi-judicial bodies will be having their judicial activities, judicial role and power, but they will not be having all the parameters that are there for the courts. In India, court system is integrated and hierarchical. Or the judiciary in our country is hierarchical, heading by Supreme Court, and then High Court, and then lower courts, district and other courts are there. Here tribunals will also be coming under these areas, but tribunals are the quasi judicial bodies which will be having judicial role, but it will not be equivalent to the court system. And then what is the role of the tribunals? When did these come? Are these tribunals were the part of the original constitution, or are they inserted into constitution later as and when there is a need arised? Tribunals are the quasi judicial bodies which are dealing with any subject matter expertise or technical areas where the members or the jurist must have the technical expertise to deal such situations. What are those technical areas? Like taxation, environment, or genetically modified seeds, or maybe agriculture, etc. These all are areas where you need a jurist must contain the subject matter expertise or technical expert. So here in these tribunals established for the purpose of a speedy recovery or speedy redressal of the issues that are arising, as we are having high case pendency in the court system, so we have established tribunals for the specific purpose of resolving the issues that are arising in technical areas. Now these tribunals are coming under Article 323A and Article 323B. Article 323A deals with administrative tribunals. What are these administrative tribunals? Administrative tribunals are tribunals that are dealing with the service matters of maybe central government employees or the state government employees. Here who can create this tribunal? Either central government can create tribunal or by the state government can create tribunal, and these will be dealt with the service rules and principles of natural justice. What is meant by principles of natural justice? Principles of natural justice comes with the people whoever are party to the case has to recuse themselves from the hearing the case. And then Article 323B deals with technical expertise areas like taxation or maybe insolvency or banking or maybe agriculture, or even that are related with the environment, or NGT is a example in this area. And then armed force tribunals are there. Likewise there are many tribunals that are there here in this Article 323B. The difference between 323A and B are, here B will be following the hierarchical system. There may be possibility of having the hierarchy in this zone, but in Article 323A there won't be any hierarchy. Apart from this, there is another article that is having 262 dealing with the interstate water tribunals. Interstate water tribunals, this established with the statute of 1956, where we have created interstate water tribunals. What are these interstate water tribunals are dealing with? Interstate water tribunals are dealing with the issues that are arising between two or more states because of the water sharing. Whenever there is a river that is flowing from the upper riparian area to lower riparian area across many states or more than one state, then the sharing will be having some issues. If the upper riparian states construct dams over the areas, then that will be leading to the lack of water, minimum flow in the river, and along with that whatever the rightfully entitled to the lower riparian states will not be allowed in this river flow. That is the reason where the issues will be arised. Like Kaveri Tribunal and Krishna Godavari tribunals are there. Many tribunals are there in our country, and now here this Article 262 will be exclusively dealing with the interstate water tribunals. Here this will not be having the appellate jurisdiction to Supreme Court, as the tribunal award will be the final in the water sharing. Now here there is an issue that there are many vacancies in tribunals, almost 500 and odd vacancies of technical people and 400 and odd vacancies of the judiciary people are fall vacant in the tribunals. As we know that there is a statement that justice delayed is justice denied, and the very purpose of establishing tribunals is for the purpose of speedy resolution of the issues that are arising in the technical areas to surpass the case pendency. Then if the tribunals are falling vacant, then what happens? The very purpose of establishing them will be defeated. So Supreme Court has repeatedly invoked in this area that you have to fill in the vacancies so that it will be availing the fundamental right of justice or access to the justice. And that's when the Chief Justice of India has invoked that you have to fill in the vacancies in couple of weeks, otherwise we will be taking action. How can the Supreme Court take action? There is a article that is 142 where decree is there. Whenever there is a lack of law or made any law by the parliament, the lawmaking body is the parliament. If there is a lack of law in certain area, then Supreme Court can invoke into this area by the principle of decree, and that is mentioned in the constitutional article 142. NCRB has come up with a new report. In this report we have seen a starking results that crime rate has increased over a period of time of last 1 year, and during this COVID situation the very much violated rule or maybe the law is disobedience. You can all understand in the lockdown situation people were not wearing mask or maybe coming out of the home, even if there is a lockdown principles are applied, etc., etc. These are the disobedience cases has jumped over 21 times from the earlier times. This is what is caused the increase in crime rate in the last 1 year. National Crime Records Bureau is a bureau that will be coming up with the national crimes in a particular year, which will be measuring about what is the number of crimes that has taken place and whether it is increased over a period of time or decreased. This will be indicator of the law and order situation and also growth and development of the country. And it has observed that there is a number of instances has increased who are coming forward to complain, and also there is number of increase in the instances of where cases are filing. Earlier there were many cases where the police station were not accepting the cases or not registering the FIR, but now this has increased over a period of time. This is indicating that awareness and responsiveness and responsibility of the people as well as the police has increased over a period of time. And then there is one thing that is good thing that happened is cases against women or the crime against women has reduced by 24% in the last 1 year time, and cyber crimes has increased by 55% in a year. This is where we have to take a measure and we have to establish a wing that will be dealing with these cyber crimes, and also it is the responsibility of each and everybody to spread the awareness about cyber crime. What are the cyber crimes? Cyber crimes are the areas where people will be entering into their virtual spaces, like maybe Facebook or even WhatsApp or whatever the area where you, if you are using a phone or laptops, computer systems, these all are the potential threat areas. The opponent will be entering into your area, may snoop your data or even enter into bank accounts and will be looting all the money by pretending as a authorized person or even in any other form. So it is a responsibility of each and every citizen to have the knowledge about the cyber security, and even the government responsibility to spread the information awareness among the citizens. Along with that, coupled with, we have to intensify the security that is dealing with the cyber security. We have been seeing in political agenda or manifesto, many parties will be coming up with saying that we will give this, etc., etc., etc. and there is an interesting thing, a bill filed by the citizen who is a responsible citizen asking for declare cash offer as the a citizen has filed in the court of law that to declare whoever or whichever the party offers cash in the manifesto must be treated as a corruption. Now it has been raising right from the maybe like after 1992 or even after 2000. Every year the spending or expenditure on the poll management has increased manyfold, and it is even led to the spreading money or distributing money, and even officially distributing money in the manifesto by saying that we will be giving this fridge, TV or etc., laptops, all other things are became jumla in the election. And even a party has went up to saying that we will be getting back all the black money and will be able to give at least 15 lakhs in each and every Indian citizen bank account. But these must be treated as a corruption if they are present in the manifesto, as the election commission is not able to enforce any law, or it is not inability to take action against the people who are saying or people who are declaring such things. So it is the time for the court to put some rules and regulation. But though it is morally and ethically correct, but how long it is going to be a rule or maybe a law, that we don't know. But this should be a considering thing that is filed by a citizen.